Yo, it's JSF, and I want to talk about patching and patch notes. I want to talk about like the importance of patching and the importance of patch notes in general, right? And I don't think patch notes are something that was done like wrong with Mortal Kombat 11 or with NRS games in general. Like I wouldn't say they do patch notes wrong, right? But just because you don't do something wrong, it doesn't mean you can't improve upon it, right? Like things can always be better. And this is never to say that somebody else is perfect and another realm is shitty, nothing like that. It's just kind of just to hammer down like, hey, it's important to patch your game, right? And then when you do patch your game, it's important to have good patch notes that the community understands and kind of so we know where you're coming from. I feel like NetherRealm does a good job with the combat casts or whatever, but they don't do them as often, right? And they can't talk about everything on the combat cast. So a patch notes, like, well, they do patch notes, but I'm saying patch notes could be the time where you sit there and explain, hey, here's the mindset, right? So for example, Street Fighter 5 just dropped an update, right? Yesterday, I believe. Dan came out with a new character. They added 11, who's literally just a random select character. And they added V-Shift, which is a new mechanic, and they added a balance patch, right? And I'll show some of it on the screen so you know what I'm talking about. But basically, they go over like what's been added to the game, right? New mechanic was added. They put it in there. They explain it, right? They say, added the new V-shift mechanic. They tell you what the input is, what it is. It's the defensive mechanic, consumes 1 bar. Like they kind of break the shit down for you. They tell you like what it is and like let you know. It's a nice little chunky little paragraph. I think that's pretty cool. I don't think we got that when we got armor breakers, but we did get a combat cast. So there's that. But I would have loved for when we got armor breakers in the aftermath, I would have loved for them to explain it. Like I know they said, oh, we added armor breakers now. Now breakaway is going to be super scary to do, which is complete cap. But yeah, that was what they said. That was all we got. Hey, now it's scary to break away because armor breakers exist, and that wasn't true at all, right? So that's just one example. But another thing I want to go over is some of the character specific changes in this Street Fighter patch, right? So if you look at it, right, these patch notes are 57 pages. It's a lot. When we get patch notes for MK or NRS games, it's usually 1 page, maybe sometimes 2, 3, 4, whatever. But they kind of just say, hey, we did this, we did this, we did this. And I think this is great what Capcom did in this instance because it says like, for example, we got Ryu here, right? And it says like he's got a whole little paragraph at the top. Right, and then it's got another section that says, compared to other characters, Ryu had harder to confirm combos, relatively strict wake-up pressure options. To combat this, we've adjusted his combos. Like, they literally, I'm not going to read all of it, obviously, right? It's a lot. But my point is, they, like, lay out the character, right? Like what they struggled with, what they excelled at, and what they changed. So they're sitting here telling you, hey, this character did a shit ton of damage, but he had a hard time opening his opponent up, or something. Like that's just an example, right? Like it said, like Ryu's crush counters and V triggers that made it difficult for him to keep up pressure and limited his offensive options. That's what they determined was the problem with Ryu. Like we all know when a character's bad for the most part, or we know when a character may need to get buffed, right? Or when a character may need to get buffed, or when another character needs to get toned down, need to get nerfed. Like, but it's nice to see a developer say, yo, here were his issues, here's the problems you have. And then another thing, and this is a big fucking thing for me, right? This is something that I always harp on. And it says, however, other characters like Ken and Akuma have this aspect to their playstyles as well, so we haven't made significant alterations. So they looked at Ryu and noticed some of his issues. Then they looked at Ken and Akuma and said, well, they have kind of similar issues because they're all similar style of character, right? They're Shotos, they're 3 peas in a damn pod, they're all chip off the same block. So they said, we didn't significantly change Ryu because he's designed this way on purpose. Like, and whether you agree with this or not, right? This isn't about saying Capcom did amazing, oh my god, they did a perfect patch. That's not what this is about. This is just about developer communication to community in regards to the game, right? I don't care I wouldn't give a shit if NetherRealm nerfed Frost, right? I would, but my point is if they did it and they said, look, this button was too powerful in this situation, so we slightly toned it down in this way. This character had other characters had an issue dealing with this. The zoning was too powerful. Like, at least I would be able to say, okay, you thought about it. Like, you're wrong, but but at least you used your noggin. You used your brain and said, hey, okay, here's an issue, right? And I think I think with patching, right? Because this game obviously needs a patch, which I don't think it's gonna get. It might. It might. I feel like we're gonna get a patch in April, or we're not getting anything. If we don't get a patch in April for this game or sooner, I don't think we're getting anything. But I think it's important that you do patch the game because it helps not make your game get so stale, right? Like this game is really, really dry. It's really boring to watch for me personally. It's just really not fun or fulfilling to play. It doesn't feel rewarding to play, right? It feels like when you win, you like had to fight through goblins and monsters and demons in the pits of the fucking Netherrealm just to beat somebody that's like 2 ranks below you in Combat League. And when you lose, you feel like you got robbed at gunpoint on your way to work to make an honest living. And then you got a call from like your pregnant girlfriend telling you to pick up some extra food for dinner tonight. Like that's what it feels like when you lose. I'm exaggerating, but you get the point. What I was getting at is patching is important because you can't like some things. I understand you don't want to patch your game every 2 weeks, right? For those of y'all who don't know or haven't heard about the MK9 days, apparently when MK9 was new, they were patching the game like every month, new patch, like new balance patch, like all the time, right? And the community kept complaining, said stop patching the game so much, let it breathe, let it live. Let the community figure out how to deal with some of the bullshit. Don't just patch it over and over and over again. I understand that, but I disagree to an extent because some things need to be patched. Shiva Stomp needs to be patched. It does. Like, there's no question about it. There's no adjusting. There's no adapting. Like, sometimes you need to patch your game. I don't give a fuck if you patched it yesterday. Patch it again. You missed something. Like, you know what I mean? And I think that mindset doesn't exist in NetherRealm. And I don't know if it exists with a lot of the community either. But I think that's, like, the mindset we need to have with it sometimes, right? Now, we don't need a balance. You can't obviously do a balance patch, change the whole roster every 2 weeks, every month. Yeah, that's a little excessive. But this game has never really gotten a major balance patch. It hasn't. There was one after Evo. I think there was one for Aftermath and one for Ultimate. And other than that, it's been like slight tweaks to one character here and there, right? Not like a full-on everybody got changes balance patch. And I think that's what this game is missing. They tried to do it with Ultimate, and they made pokes minus, but they botched that as well. So this game does need a complete overhaul patch still. I don't think it's ever going to get it. But I just think it's important to know when you need to patch your game. And then when you do patch your game, it's important that you understand what you're doing, right? Like I say all the time, that NetherRealm doesn't know what they're doing. They don't know anything about fighting games. All they do is prove me right. But it's nice to see that there are developers that exist that literally can just articulate why they did what they did, right? Because even if I don't agree with the buffs or if the buffs aren't what I want, we as a community, and I say we, myself included, sometimes we say we want something, but another issue, it's like, damn, I wish I remembered what Keith said about the Jago's nerf. They said he was too good, he's too busted, blah, 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 blah. Everybody complained about one thing, and they completely didn't even nerf the thing everybody complained about. They nerfed something else. And everybody was like, why would you do that? This is not what we wanted you to nerf. But after they did the nerf, the whole community stopped complaining. You know what I mean? Like sometimes what we believe is better for the game isn't. But in this situation, it's pretty straightforward. Nerf the fucking Shiva Stomp. I don't think there's anybody who's going to disagree with that. That doesn't butcher the character. She's still going to be fine. She won't be S+ tier anymore, but so what? She should have never been that in the first place. But anyway, I just wanted to talk about this because I saw these patch notes and I immediately thought, wow, this is really, really interesting. And I know that there are other games, I think like MOBAs and other games by different companies like have very, very detailed patch notes, which I think is great. Even if the patch notes are 100 pages, do I want to read this shit? No. But I love, like, will I read it? Probably. Like, I love that you're giving me access to the information. You're letting me go into your mind a little bit as a developer and seeing, oh, this is how the devs are thinking. This is what you're doing. But with NetherRealm, all we get is, we made this shit -10. We made this shit +2. We made you able to special cancel this. Like, there's nothing more to it than that. They just tell us what they did. We never get the why, right? We complained for Shao Kahn to be able to get his 434 special cancelable since day one, and then they finally did it. But it's like, wait, what took you so long to make this change? Why didn't you want to do it in the first place? Like, I would love to know more. But hey, maybe that's just me. I'm a knowledge seeker. I'm an analysis man. I'm that kind of guy. So anyway, sorry for the lack of videos lately. I've been playing too much Guilty Gear Strive beta. But tonight's the last night for that. So I'll be back on this bullshit. But hey, man, appreciate y'all. Stream coming soon on YouTube. 1K stream. I want to make it fun. I don't know what to do. But y'all stay safe. If y'all like the content, please subscribe. I'm going to try to crank out a few more videos. Stay safe. JSF, I'm out.